Hi, welcome back to World of the Psychic.
Together we shall cast ourselves into the future.
Seen any aliens lately?
This is a part of America we never get to see.
Are you by chance referring to the legend of the Loch Ness Monster?
A ball of twine that weighs 19,000 pounds.
What is this, nerd porn?
It is about the Templar treasure, but it's also about other things, conspiracy theories, urban legends, and other myths that are true.
You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to the
Travel Oddities Podcast.
And hello, welcome to the Travel Oddities Podcast. I'm Brett Manzer.
And I'm Harley Covington.
We are embarking on something that's a little bit different. I think this episode's going to test our ability a little bit.
Yes, I'm really not comfortable.
I'm not comfortable with it. Here's what happened. This was the selection process. So I'm sitting at home. Was it Sunday when you text me?
Yes.
I'm sitting at home. I get a text. Let me see if I can find the text.
No, don't look for the text.
Why?
I can pretty much tell them what.
Well, so I get a text. One says Oculus House or Singing Stones in Pennsylvania. So I go Oculus House because I'm in my mind. I'm thinking of Oculus Rift, the artificial. You know what I'm talking about? The AR, the simulator.
Yep.
And then the movie Oculus, and then Oculus meaning it's like, isn't it like Latin for like
visual
or something like that? Anyway, so I went and I said, okay, let's do Oculus.
Okay, so hold on. I'll let you finish your story shortly. So I didn't just send him
he sent me links.
One or the other. I sent him video links for him to per preview and then come up with a decision that was based in some sort of fact.
Right.
You ignored all of that.
No, I didn't. I opened the Oculus one first. It seemed interesting enough. The only thing I'm concerned about is that this may fall under the same guidelines as another episode that we've already done.
Which is?
The Secret Society of the Skull and Bones.
So you're going to make a lot of...
I'm not... No. I'm not going to make a lot of references, if you will. I want to make sure this is a safe for work environment.
The reason I'm concerned about it is it's really all over the place. Normally on one of these shows for our prep work, we can cram this into a format that you and I can discuss, but there's a little bit of a roadmap laid. This is just a big, nasty hornet's nest of
he said, she said, hearsay,
and Crazy Town.
It
all sounds crazy.
I mean, it really does sound like Crazy Town. It sounds like something out of, like, The Village or, I don't know, like Wayward Pines or something, like some secret society. Literally a secret society nestled in the woods of Damascus, Oregon.
Right, and we're going to get to that.
We'll get to it.
But let's get caught up with you and I before we move on.
Yes.
How are things? What's up with stuff?
Stuff is well. Stuff is going well.
The show seems to have caught on a little bit.
We're catching on. We're still waiting on those 5-star reviews. They're coming in. They're trickling in. People are responding, leaving us comments.
But more importantly, our listenership doubled from one week to the next.
Oh, yeah.
Which is amazing to me.
Well, in the last show, it took a week to accomplish what we accomplished in almost 24 hours or the show before last took a week, what it took us 24 hours to accomplish
with Tessie.
With Tessie, which was, I'm not going to say Tessie was our worst showing.
No.
But, I mean, it wasn't, it wasn't something that was just laden with evidence and...
There was a certain lack of hard evidence.
There was
Tessie.
A lot of, to say the very least, a lack of hard evidence. And I'm not, in this one that we're going to dive into, there's a lot of hard evidence that but it's hard to determine what it all means.
Or how much of it is actually factual.
Right.
There's
Factual.
so many so many things that are stated as fact without any corroboration.
Right.
That it's hard to tell. It's literally you read through it and it's like, okay, well, is this legit?
Mm-hmm.
Or did somebody literally just make this shit up?
I hope that, from our sake, that this episode does well. We've got over 100 and how many up to this point?
100 billion people. Hey, but
billion.
more importantly, we do have a new fan base.
Really?
It's like the 7 to 12-year-olds.
7 to 12-year-olds are eating it up.
Because of our guest appearance last week.
Is that right?
Yes. Or at least he believes so.
Okay.
I think that he's going to take full credit for the jump in listenership.
Oddly enough, yes, we did have a stellar interview. He doesn't grant many interviews.
No. Very few.
And getting them to sit in one place for any length of time is difficult.
Almost impossible.
But, we really appreciate Connor Covington for coming in. And
he did say that he would be more than willing to come back at a future date, but he did have stipulations.
Well, what were those?
The next go-around, he expects to be included in more of the process.
Oh, okay.
He felt like his interview was insufficient for the magnitude of star that he is.
True. Well, thanks for coming in, Connor. We'll try to make that happen for you next time. Anubis.
So, Damascus, Oregon, specifically, we're talking about the Temple of the Oculus Anubis.
Right.
This, to the best of our ability to discern, is a temple?
A temple, but I've seen aerial shots where it looks like almost like a compound with pods, like pod-like structures. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what this thing is, and that's the thing. The information that there is out there is everybody's got a different angle of the same shot.
Agreed. But let's start off with the Temple of Oculus Anubis with a warning.
Please.
This is private property.
Very private property.
We are not giving you any sort of authorization to trespass upon the private property that is the Temple of Oculus Anubis.
Because and we'll get to the stories, but there have been stories where certain people have been allowed into the Oculus compound, onto the property, taken into certain areas, and nothing said to them, but handed a pamphlet or a piece of paper that says, if you return, you will not leave. So whatever you can do to avoid, drive up to the gate, take a couple selfies, get the hell out of Dodge.
Now, just a brief description of what you're going to see if you pull up there. It's two basically mansions. Mm-hmm. There is a giant statue of Anubis.
Anubis, the Egyptian god.
Apparently, there's a tunnel system connecting this whole compound together, which we'll touch on a little bit, but it's apparently a very expensive endeavor for what they did. There are pyramids.
Mm-hmm. There are two pyramids at the front. At a cul-de-sac is where the main entrance is to this thing. With a gate, two pyramids that supposedly shoot flame at night. I mean, this is what we've heard. This is what I've saw on YouTube.
The local legend is that occult sacrifices happen here. That's one of the local legends. So let's first and foremost, have you read our short story from Reddit.
Right, we've got a Redditor.
Not ours. We didn't write it.
That sent a story into Reddit. So basically, they say there's a street near my house that's pretty eerie, and I'm not sure what to make of it. I'm asking for help or advice to what this place could be and what exactly my boyfriend and I could have potentially stumbled into. Now, for clarification, so that everyone I know that it's out there, for everyone to know, I'm going to give a little background information into this street, as well as what my boyfriend and I experienced. It might be a little long, but please stick with me. I truly need your help with this. So this is the real deal. This isn't one of those. This is not a Legend of the Boggy Woods monster or anything. This is a real deal here. So she says, near my house, maybe 20 minutes away, is this really bizarre street of houses. It's off the beaten path, smack dab in the middle of an area full of little country houses and farmlands. You drive down a one-lane gravel road with houses, really nice houses actually, 2 stories or larger, with the big garages, big windows. You know, you kind of get, I mean, you guys getting probably the general idea of, I mean, it's a more affluent area of Oregon. And she says, near my house, no wait, we jumped into our car, headed down, and took a look at the place. Everything was described well lit. They couldn't get any radio for some reason. No radio was available, and everyone's vans were in place. Now, according to what I've read and heard, there are a bunch of white box vans.
Right. Everybody in this neighborhood drives a white box van.
White box van. So all the vans were in place. They drove down the gravel road and pulled into the are we calling it Anubis?
It's Anubis.
Anubis, okay. Anubis house. As we drove in, we saw the house on the left, the one that is constantly lit and full of people. The blinds in every room were drawn, so I, as a nosy person, was able to look into them. Every single person in that house was standing still, staring straight out of their windows at us from every room. When we turned around, they continued to stare, still motionless, until we drove away. It was creepy, but at the time, I also found it to be pretty awesome. Which, I mean, I'm kind of one of those people. I'm curious about that kind of thing. I've seen enough movies like that to make you kind of make the hair on your head stand up.
Yeah, when people are not acting, in the social norm, especially when they're doing it in a group.
Right.
So it's one thing, for a mentally impaired person to just act odd.
Mm-hmm. But if you've got a group of people
that are acting odd together, it adds a layer of creepiness that kind of just gets right to you.
Like, you want to, turn the car around and, the car dies and, they engulf your car and tear it apart and pull you out and kill you.
So a lot of the information around this points to a cult. Which makes perfect sense to me, especially when you're talking about everybody in the neighborhood acting odd when you drive down the street, everybody driving a white van. It's strange. Mm-hmm. And if you get everybody in a group acting outside of the norm, there has to be some driving force behind that.
Right.
Cult makes sense.
Cult, because you look at the Branch Davidians, you look at Jonestown, you look at ISIS. No, I don't know. Is ISIS a cult? No?
I think technically it's just a terrorist organization.
We have nothing against ISIS, do we? Wait, we do, but...
it depends. If we're talking about ISIS, like ISIS and Osiris,
right?
Then, maybe not. I don't know.
I don't want to draw the ire of the wrong group.
Well, if I go outside and there are several white SUVs or white vans parked out in the parking lot and people that are staring at me, I'm probably going to run away.
You know what's weird? When you think of things that are scary, to me, the scariest movies don't involve some type of a psychic force or something mystical. It's movies like The Strangers and movies like You're Next and The Purge. People being human or inhumane, when we're not joined together fighting Michael Myers.
Right.
When people are just or have you seen The Crazies?
Yes.
Prime example. Those type of situations are terrifying me. This situation here would scare the holy bejesus out of me.
I like it.
If
I want to go now.
Well, if I drove down their street, and as I'm turning around to leave, everybody's on the road watching me leave, and as I leave, they all walk back to their well lit homes. That's another key. They're all and I'm seeing this happen in the rearview mirror. I'm never coming back, man. I'm not.
I honestly, I would love to go just to see you in full out freak out
But
mode.
am I wrong though? When you think of things that are scary to you,
it would be creepy, and that is scarier than most things that people are scared of.
because here's what we know about. Let's use Michael Myers as an example because he's my favorite boogeyman. You know, if you've survived the first movie, or you've survived your first encounter with Michael Myers, and you killed him per se, you know that he's coming back. You can't. Right. He's an unstoppable force. When you're dealing with a mob, you know, when it's a mob mentality, whether they're just silently watching you or they're all chasing you down the road, and it's something. There's not something mystical. Like, it's just, again, people being rabid, people being cold and doing what people do, just pure evil. Or silence is deafening sometimes. This scares me, man. I'm Robert the Doll. Keep me away from Robert and keep me out of Damascus, Oregon. Am I right? Don't stop. Stop. I don't like it. I don't like when people sit there and stare at me. You scared me when you do that, dude. You do. Oh my God. It's like one of the scariest things you can do to me. It's just stare at me.
All right, so Brett's not lying. He really is creeped out by people not talking.
I'm serious. I hate it. I hate silence.
So Damascus, Oregon, apparently, maybe, hard to tell, on a ley line.
Oh, really?
Which makes sense.
Okay.
The magical connection between across the globe.
But are there any that intersect with it as well, or is it just along the...
not from what I can tell, but it looks like it's on a primary ley line. There's a lot...
Well, real quick. Now, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No.
But assuming that some of our newer listeners, and maybe the older ones probably do know, and they may not, describe briefly the ley line theory.
Sure. It's easy. Started off in Britain. It was basically straight tracts of land in the British landscape.
Huge tracts of land. You get the reference?
Yes.
What?
I want to say it's Monty Python. Right.
So
they couldn't get past the gate. They needed a key.
I am Vince Clortho, Keymaster of Gozer. Volca Sildro, our Lord of the Cebulia. Are you the gatekeeper?
Yes. They needed a key for the Keymaster, or the gate.
For the gatekeeper.
The gatekeeper.
Right.
God. That movie never gets old.
No, that is a classic. I feel a pain knowing that they're remaking it
with a bunch of damn women. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, lady folks gonna mess it up.
Ain't no woman gonna be Egon. I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic. I get a little bit of a nerd chubby thinking about chicks playing Ghostbusters, but we'll see. Yeah. So let's look here. I mean, it's got everything that indicates that it involves Egypt. It has the large pyramids on either side. It's on a cul-de-sac. There's a lot of cul-de-sacs in Egypt.
I don't think there are a lot of cul-de-sacs in Egypt.
They're not?
No.
Well, okay, so there's a main house or two main houses.
Two main houses.
Now, from what I understand, this is a 30-acre, I've heard anywhere between 10 and 30-acre.
Right, and I've heard the exact same figures. It's between 10 and 30. I would think that public record should be able to tell us exactly how much, but that's not readily available.
So the Devil's Fairgrounds is surrounded by barbed wire, and then there's a housing community on the outlying portions of this area. Because I've heard there's one way in, one way out. Then I've heard, well, you go through this neighborhood, and there's a neighborhood that's connected to this. I mean, there's just so much shrouded in mystery.
There is a lot of, I think more than anything, there's a lot of extra information. You know,
right.
There's a whole lot of people who are all piping in. They all want to put their 2 cents in, and it really just flooded our research. But I think really the weird parts that stand out to me, you've got the long tunnel, you've got the pyramids, you've got the statue of Anubis. I didn't see King Tut, but I kind of feel like
King Tut,
like it's appropriate.
Give my regards to King Tut, asshole.
Hashtag Stargate. Hashtag Kurt Russell. Okay, one of the best sci-fi movies ever. Stargate. Okay, James Spader.
Can you believe James Spader, star of Blacklist,
Yes.
was in Stargate?
Okay, wait. Now, going back farther, I think he played. I'm trying to think of he was the rich douchebag in Pretty in Pink, and I think his name was Blair in that movie. But he was Andrew McCarthy's the bad influence guy that was like, oh, she's poor, stay away from her, you know. And then lest we forget Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
Right,
James Spader.
He did go through a little phase there in the late 80s.
Yes, but he's Ultron.
He is Ultron.
I mean, and let me tell you, he played a killer. Well, no pun intended. A killer Ultron. I liked his voice, man.
He pulls off the voice.
Ain't nobody got no strings on me.
Yeah. But his portrayal of Reddington in the Blacklist,
it's killer.
It is killer, yeah.
There's this guy on YouTube who does recipes and stuff, and every recipe that he does, I've got a killer recipe for a grilled cheese. I got a killer recipe for soup. It's like every recipe you have, it can't be killer.
I have a killer recipe for a bologna sandwich. By the way, I actually do.
Do you really? What is it?
I can't divulge.
Okay, but what is it? What's it? I mean, you can't give me what the finished product is if it's any good?
Oh, it's amazing. It's fried.
Well, I mean, if you're going to do bologna, got to be fried.
Yes, I agree with that.
Now, do you do the thick cut bologna?
Yes.
Do you cut your own bologna, or do you get the package? What do you do, Bar S?
Oh, no.
Oh, come on. What's wrong with Bar S?
You got to get it from the deli, dude.
You can get bologna from the deli?
Yes.
You know, in the 80s? No way.
You can get bologna from the deli, thick cut.
Do you get
almost like a ham steak?
You can get it cut that thick?
Yes. And you've got to have here I am giving away my secrets. You got to have the heat low medium.
So we're going low and slow on the cook.
And then you've got to let it cook until there's a good char on the bologna. And then mustard, a little bit of Dijon mustard.
Okay.
In the mustard. And then just a hint of honey.
Really?
Yes, it is the bomb.
And that's it? And bread?
White bread.
White bread. It wouldn't be a bologna sandwich if it wasn't white bread.
No, it wouldn't. I don't know what it would be. I think it would be French.
Oh, okay. Well,
you'd have to serve it on a baguette. No?
I don't know. That's too fancy pants for bologna. Bologna doesn't, and it's not that the bologna doesn't garner a good bread. I just think it's bologna.
Texture. I'm sorry. It's got to be on like rainbow white bread.
See. Okay, but is it enriched so the bread's kind of moist?
Right.
Okay.
And the bologna has to go on as soon as it's done. You take it right out of the pan onto the bread, slap the other piece of bread on it, and eat it immediately.
Now, when you put your condiments, do you do both breads? Top? No?
One side.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Yes.
You do peanut butter both sides?
No.
Wrong. Why?
Because
it's the peanut butter is the show.
I understand that, but you can go on one side and make it super thick, and then spreading the jelly is not a problem on the other side.
The crunchy peanut butter, one side.
Okay, so I have had an issue with crunchy peanut butter for about the last, say, 25 years.
Why?
Crunchy peanut butter is amazing. The only peanut butter that should exist should be crunchy peanut butter, but I have yet to find a woman that accepts crunchy peanut butter as the primary peanut butter
Now,
source.
the problem with crunchy peanut butter is it doesn't spread easy. You put it on the bread and it kind of you're pulling trying to sprint it, and it kind of picks up and wants to roll
Roll
up. I mean, it's a lot
that.
of back and forth. They don't make it. They make it almost too crunchy. I think if they had a medium, like if you could, like choose your peanut butter, your crunchy peanut butter, like you did your orange juice, to where you could get a light, a no crunch, what would be the creamy, then a kind of a lighter version of the crunchy, up to like up to where it's basically
like
a candy
you have
bar,
extreme crunchy peanut butter, which is just a can of peanuts.
Yeah, a can of peanuts with some oil in it.
All right, can we steer the show back on track?
Yes.
What are we talking about?
Okay,
not peanut butter.
What's your jelly preference?
No, it's back on track.
Okay.
Let's talk about Anubis.
Let's talk about white. Yes, I agree. The kids have voted. We're going to talk about white SUVs, people in cults. Speaking of cults, have you seen The Leftovers? You ever seen that show on HBO?
No, are we back to talking about food? This feels like a food conversation.
No, it's a show called Leftovers by Carlton. It's created by Carlton Cuse, who created Lost.
Right, he was the brother from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
No, that's somebody else.
Okay.
Anyway, speaking of Lost, real quick, and we'll get back to this. If you're going to say to me, what is today? Today is February the 2nd.
3rd, I think.
3rd. Is it?
I don't know.
February the 3rd, 2016. Now stop. Hang on.
Do we have to pause the show?
No, we don't have to pause the show. I'm looking up something.
Hey, did you see that Sawyer is in the new television series? I think it's on USA. The Colony.
I've heard some good things about it.
It looks. I've watched the first couple of episodes.
Is it good?
It seems to be pretty good.
I want to see The Colony, and then there's that other show on WGN called. Is it called Outcasts or Outsiders? It's basically like a post-apocalyptic. It's a post-apocalyptic world that takes place kind of in the woods instead of like in the desert. So it's like not Waterworld. That's stupid. Why would it? It's like you can't say Waterworld meets anything because unless it has a lot of water involved, it's nothing like Waterworld.
It's like Waterworld meets Sponge.
It's like Mad Max meets
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
You're welcome. I
say all that to say this: the very last episode of Lost aired May 23rd, 2010. 6 years ago.
6 years ago. Okay.
It'll be 6 years this May.
Right.
And you're going to tell me.
What am I going to tell you?
That you. And there's a follow-up to this, by the way. You haven't seen the final episode of Lost.
Before we get there, I just want to warn you that too much ribbing on Harley will result in Harley just staring at you.
Stop.
With no sound. So, with that in mind, Brett, what would you like to ask me?
Have you not seen the last episode of Lost?
I have not seen the last 5 episodes.
So you have no idea how it ends.
I have no idea
You
how.
have no idea.
I watched it religiously, and then
we're going to fix this problem.
The internet was broken.
But do you know Netflix? They pulled the final episodes, some of the final episodes from Lost off of Netflix.
Right, and that happened back in the day. Hence, Harley was waiting for a friend to buy, and nobody ever did.
I did buy.
And now it's 6 years later, and I'm fine with not knowing how Lost ended.
Are you really? You can't be okay with it.
I'm really okay with it.
You can't be.
I
promise you, if your girlfriend that hasn't watched it watches the last 5 episodes, she's going to want to watch the whole thing.
Okay, so the way I see it, the show ended in my mind exactly the way it should have.
Okay, in your mind.
Right.
How did it end? What were your predictions?
Question marks.
No duh.
That's it.
So you don't care where the polar bears came from. You don't care about the smoke monsters.
I get the distinct impression that nobody addressed the polar bears.
I mean, I don't think you can summarize.
Way off target.
Well, I know,
today.
but I don't think you can really. I could say in 5 episodes that they would have tied everything together.
I don't think so.
Because there was a season in there where you're like, okay, who are these new people? And it's like, who are these random crash survivor number 2 that doesn't get to hang out with the cool kids in the tent? You remember seeing those people, random survivors? Are like, wait a second,
Right.
you're not Jen.
Okay, but again,
okay,
you're going way off topic.
So
We can have a lost episode if you want. Actually, we already have several.
There are some lost episodes.
So we'll just leave those where they are.
Okay.
So back to the Oculus Anubis. We're talking a cult. We're talking a religion. They spent $2 million on an underground tunnel system. At least that's the information that most sources are citing, that it was $2 million to connect these tunnels. And there are pictures, which we have, which we will include some links in the show notes.
Now, I mean, I get it. If you're preparing for some type of an attack, an imminent attack, or, I'm down with the whole, being a doomsday prepper and things like that. Do you think that's kind of what that is, or no?
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think this is like an end of the world.
You think that's a way for them to travel from the house to the altar?
No, I think they're probably doing kooky, creepy, crazy things here. If I had to guess, they're killing some bunny rabbits and some goats on a regular at this place.
Well, it is Oregon. They are pretty progressive. They would be grass-fed goats and grass-fed rabbits, and it'd be local. We only sacrifice local animals. Because you ask, was this local? Of course it's local.
So there are a whole lot of tie-ins with mythical Egyptian gods that people will point to in these stories. It's hard to tell, but if I had to guess, this is some sort of Egyptian cult. It may be Ra, it may be Set, it may be Akiru. It's hard to tell from the limited information that we have, but no matter what, I'm pretty sure there's some blood rites involved, and these people are trying to resurrect
something.
A dead religion would be my guess.
Yeah, but what is their revenue stream?
Well, again, most cults work. You got to buy your way into the cult, and then the peripheral members.
So you're basically saying that the buy-ins, you pay your dues. That's how the cult survives,
right?
But for having only a $260,000 yearly income, operated by 3 people, this is a pretty
elaborate.
But
just because they only have $260,000 in recognizable annual income doesn't mean that they don't have $1 billion in a bank account. They just show $260,000 in annual income. They don't have to say, I only made $260,000, but I've got another $1 million in my pocket.
Do they have sales tax or state taxes? Yeah.
Right, that's where that information's coming from.
Okay.
Their taxes.
I didn't mean to yawn. What happened? What happened there?
So there is a link to the infamous cult, Heaven's Gate cult. You remember?
The suicide cult, yeah, from back in the 2000s.
One of the websites affiliated with this organization is heavensgate.com.
See,
I'm a little confused by that. But again, we've said before, don't go trespassing. Drive down the street. Take pictures from the road. Knock on the gate if you're...
But see, I don't think you can see the big houses from the road. I think they're too...
No, but you can see the Anubis statue. You can see the pyramids.
The gate.
You can see the creepy neighborhood.
Because it's literally, you drive down this gravel road, and it's at the end of the cul-de-sac is where this gate is. So, I mean, it literally is one way in, one way out. And see, that's what I was saying, but the aerial view, you've got these, structures. I don't know if those are windows or whatever openings those are on those structures like that.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from the... But I would imagine, if you have permission from a landowner of an adjacent area and you're hiking just to see what you can see, it might be worth it. I would do it if I were in the area.
No, not a chance.
I would rather hit this thing from the woods than drive down the creepy street.
Well, the problem is, would you... at least if you went down the creepy street, someone could say, well, yeah, the car went that way. I mean, if you try a guerrilla approach, a ninja-style entrance through a gap in the hedgerow, I don't think that anyone's going to account for you.
Yeah, to a degree, I see what you're saying. But at the same time, I don't know, I would feel more comfortable not being pinned in. And I feel like that road is set up, It'd be real easy to roll those white vans into the street, and then you're stuck there. What are you going to do?
It's like you don't know what's going on the other side of those white vans. I don't know, man. I'm staying out of this one. Again, put me in a haunted house, I'll stay the night. But if there's a chance of a druid, like, slitting my throat with, like, a serpent dagger, I'm not doing it.
I would disagree with that.
Really? You want to be somebody's freaking sacrifice?
No, I just think that, well, I mean...
You want to be the blood omen donation for the month?
I feel like your racist comments about
Oh.
druids, I find it to be offensive.
You do have a druid robe. Don't you? That you wear the medieval fair? With your Nikes?
Yes, with my Nikes. So let's talk a little bit about Damascus, Oregon.
Okay,
and not the capital of Syria.
What are we talking? If we're not jumping the fence, if we're just going to decide to go down to the bottom of the street and come back,
you are going to make it very difficult for me to edit this show.
This is going to be hard to edit
with the yawns right in the middle of sentences that I cannot delete.
So what is there to do in Damascus?
Well, I mean, let's talk a little bit about Damascus before we, obviously joining an Egyptian death cult is probably...
It may be up your alley, it may not be.
But it's a small town, 9,000 people.
That's not bad.
No, that's very small. That is a very small town. So I would think that if you're in Damascus, Oregon, chances are the people you're interacting with are cult members.
Yes.
With only 9,000 people,
yeah.
they either all got to be in on it or the cult doesn't exist.
Well, like when the Branch Davidians were in Waco, they were all in and around town, and people would see them in the grocery store. And I mean, you've got to be a part of the community unless you're a farming cult.
A farming cult.
So yeah, I mean, these are your. This is your census. Part of your census is this Egyptian devil cult.
I want to see the census numbers. I want to see the demographics and find out how many Catholics there are and how many I'm a member of the cult of Ra.
And does this cult have come down for our annual chili cook-off? It's the Ra chili cook-off.
That's messed up.
This chili is hotter than the devil, isn't it? Anyway,
so yeah, I mean, it doesn't appear that. Don't get me wrong, the whole state is gorgeous. So if you go to Damascus, and all you do is drive down the road to see the pyramid, and you turn around and you leave, you're probably going to enjoy yourself.
I mean, the picture of, and there's links in our show notes to some of this stuff, but it's a picturesque. I mean, it's a beautifully adorned gate. I mean, it's not just like a wrought iron gate. I mean, it's beautifully adorned, intricately designed. The pyramids are man-made, handmade. They're about 6 foot tall, probably 6 foot tall in height, and probably 8 to 10 feet wide. I mean, it's beautifully done. They've painstakingly put this thing together. The question is, what's the intent of this organization or intent of this? I mean, when you're talking about $2 million in tunnels, and you're talking about, I mean, it's clearly some type of a cult, just based on there's 3, so there's there's probably the left hand, right hand, and the guy in charge, and then with the community that surrounds the area, it's clearly a cult. What they're about is unclear. I mean, from what I've seen and what we've talked about, I don't really see that they're hurting the community. I mean, people aren't vanishing; they're just seeing.
Well, people who are on the census and who hold a position in town that would be missed are not disappearing, but that doesn't mean you're a random vagrant or hitchhiker cruising through Damascus.
I mean, in a town of 9,000, whereas, Oklahoma City, we're, what, 1 million?
Close, yeah.
If one of us died tomorrow, it's not, there's chances are there'd be a select few that would know, but they're not going to change the population to 999,999.
Right.
Whereas if something, old man Withers disappears in a town of 9,000, which sounds like quite a few.
If Debbie the Donut Girl doesn't show up to work on Sunday morning,
somebody's going to notice.
Everybody notices.
Everybody notices.
So if they're often people in Damascus, they're out-of-towners, which might not bode well for traveling to Damascus to see the death cult.
But my question is, how are so many people, or so few, obviously there have been few people that have had, I don't know whether you even say the pleasure or the luck or the opportunity to have entered the gates, saw parts of the tunnels. There's photographs of the tunnels.
There's photographs of tunnels.
But to say those are the particular tunnels, who knows?
Right.
They kind of look like the El Chapo tunnels a little bit, if you look at it. I mean, it does.
It does a little bit.
I mean, for $2 million, I mean, I'm going to have there's going to be walls and a floor. And
your tunnels will have been carved by dwarven
druids.
So,
I don't know. Go to Damascus, Oregon, if you want to be a shaman. If you don't want to be a shaman, what else is there to do?
Well, as we normally do, I think we need to talk about some places to eat in Damascus. And again, we went and searched for oddity-themed restaurant. We did not come up with any. We did find a nice restaurant that we will plug here in a minute. But did you, Brett, if you were going to open up a restaurant in Damascus, what restaurant would you open?
Now, it's kind of what mine would be kind of a fusion of Egyptian and Asian cuisine.
Okay.
And I would call it Anubis Asian cuisine, where their motto is walk like an Egyptian. W-O-K, like the walk.
No, I got you.
What about you?
So
you wouldn't eat at my restaurant?
No, I totally would eat at your restaurant in Damascus. We went down similar paths.
Oh, we did?
Yes. So my hot dog sausage restaurant.
You're a hot dog sausage guy.
I am a hot dog sausage guy. So my hot dog sausage restaurant would be called Anubis.
Ooh.
Best sausage this side of the Nile.
Not bad.
I think I won. I think I won.
We'll see. If you're listening out there, tell us who got it right, me or him.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook, throw it up there. Harley wins. Just go ahead and say it. So the restaurant that
I'm looking at the food right now.
In reality, the restaurant that you can eat at in Damascus, Oregon, the best one we could find is called Dean's Homestyle Cafe. Listed as American traditional, close as you can get to 5 stars on the internet and have any numbers behind that. Looks like they're really known for breakfast food, which you and I are big fans of.
Yes.
Bacon, sausage, biscuits. Looks great. There are several quotes here, but the one that I'm seeing that gets me
hot and bothered.
Basically, the gentleman says that my wife got the pancakes, bacon, 3 eggs, and hash browns. She's very picky about her bacon and hash browns, and she loved them. I also am familiar with people being very picky about bacon and hash browns, surprisingly, so that one caught my attention.
Now, I think the what's the word I'm looking for? When you think of restaurants that you know that have to be really good, I think the ones that close that aren't open for dinner.
Right.
And I don't think it's because they don't have enough food. I think they're that good. This place is only open from 6:30 in the morning to 3 p.m. I mean, so you're not getting...
And with a schedule like that, there are people coming in at 2:45 that want some biscuits and gravy.
And probably will get the bombest biscuits and gravy that you can get. And its price range is under $10. I'm looking at the servings. Yes, I will take 2 eggs over easy. And your corned beef hash.
Yeah, it looks good. I would try it if I were there.
Yeah.
So if you're out hunting for Egyptian
druids,
death cults, quit using druids because druids are from...
Okay, druids are from Europe.
European area.
I'm sorry. Oh, heaven forbid we get North American druids.
They have them.
They do.
Yes.
So why can't my death... I'm already calling it my death cult.
You're crossing the streams, bro.
Okay. I've got to keep my universes separate.
Egyptian mythology is not the same as European...
Anglo-Saxon...
Religion.
Gotcha.
Historical religion.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Did I just lose one with the team out here?
You might have... We might have lost a listener.
If they made it to this point, let me know. We knew going into this episode was going to be tough.
But we got through it.
We did.
I mean, that's Damascus, Oregon.
When you take a dart throwing approach to, okay, what's it going to be? Flip a coin. You got to work with what you got.
Speaking of which, I did put out a request on Facebook for some show suggestions.
Have we got any?
We did get one. We had someone that was very interested in anything that creeps you out.
Really?
So we did good just by accident.
Do we have a name on that?
Yes, but it's somebody you know. So.
Oh, man. Come on. So it's that part of the show where if you're listening to this right now, chances are you have an iTunes account.
Possibly. If
you know somebody that's going to listen to this and they have an iTunes account, do us a favor, 5-star reviews. And you can do, if we want to play opposites and say 5 stars means the worst podcast I've listened to, do it. Or 5 stars is the best. I don't care.
Being found on iTunes requires a lot of activity on the iTunes account.
Now listen, in an age where Kim Kardashian's Twitter poll received more votes than the Iowa caucuses, in an age where that's more important than the Iowa caucuses, I feel like our podcast is more important than the Iowa caucus.
I feel like if you're Ted Cruz or if you're Donald Trump or you're Bernie Sanders and you're to the point to where you're going to throw in the towel, go out in a blaze of glory and get in front of every camera you can get in front of and tell people to listen to the Travel Oddities podcast.
It's going to do you a favor. You're on the road right now. I'm talking to you. Yes, you, the one that's on the road, got their auxiliary cable plugged in. I'm appealing to you right now, Johnny Jones.
What do you want him to do? Slam on his brakes, pull off to the side of the road, log into iTunes, give us a 5-star review?
Yes.
No. Johnny, drive home. But remember, when you get home, log into iTunes.
5-star review.
5-star review.
Go to Facebook. Yes, you can access. You can. Yes. Can I access your podcast from Facebook? Yes. But the problem with accessing it from Facebook is you can't just stop. If you need to go do something, you can't just stop it. Okay.
Right. If you stop it, it restarts. So you will want a podcast program
of some type,
a podcast catcher of some kind.
And what is the one that we use?
Podcast Addict.
Podcast Addict. Look it up. It's in the Apple Store. It's in Google Play.
Right.
Podcast Addict. Solve this problem. That's if you don't have an iTunes account. If you don't have iTunes, don't make one on our account. But if you do, no reason not to go. Give us a 5-star review. We're starting to build here, people.
We're building up momentum.
You're a part of something. Well, you're a part of something that's great.
Not a big part. We're not going to pay you or anything, but
we're the last bastion
of sanity, hope.
Of hope. I just wanted to say the word bastion. But anyway, go to facebook.com/Travel Oddities Podcast.
Follow us on Twitter.
Follow us on Twitter
Travel
_ oddities.
Oddities. Why are you stepping on me?
Sorry.
So follow us on Twitter. Travel _ oddities.
Instagram is coming. We said that last time.
Obviously not fast enough.
Anyway, well, that's been Travel Oddities. Thanks for joining us.
Peace.
Wait.
Oh, why?
I'm Brett Manzer.
You've been stepping on me so much, I don't even know where I'm at.
Okay.
Start over.
Let's start over. This has been Travel Oddities. I'm Brett Manzer.
And I'm Harley.
Peace.
Peace.